Welcome to the next tutorial. This time it's about making the most out of reusable assets. Simplest sample for that is house. So I drew up some simple shapes. We can see some gradients with a few rectangles on top for the walls. Chimney, pretty much a copy of the same thing. One node removed for the roof tiles, some small windows that'll go into the roof, some doors, and everything is really basic shapes as usual, working with squares and rectangles, circles, the lot. You know my tutorials, so a lot of it has been covered, like the wooden planks. They have been covered in an earlier tutorial, and let me just show you. If we put on a rectangle here and zoom in, I can just show you if the zoom would work. Okay, here we have simple rectangle, brown color, set outline stroke. Convert that to a path. No, Chris, that was the wrong one. We convert that, come on, convert that to a path, object to path. Okay, object to path. Okay, here we go. Now I have a path. I can select the nodes, and just to make it a little uneven, make it look a little bit more interesting, I add new nodes, and then can just go in and move those around a little bit to make my wooden plank, wooden beam, whatever we will use it for, look a little bit more interesting. Okay, that's our basic shape. For this one, just gonna use the pen tool. Come on. Okay, we have the line. I seem to have a problem with my Wacom tablet today, or with the lack of caffeine, so bear with me. Let's set a stroke, and the opacity will go down. Okay, choosing slightly different colors here. So and we have a darker bit for the base. Probably can go lighter. We don't need stroke for this one because it's our shadow element, and duplicate that one, make it slightly smaller and give it a lighter color. I like my yellows, so transparent shape, light yellow and top. Again, we can go in and add some nodes here just to bring our shadow shape in line with the main shape. Quickly moving nodes here. This doesn't have to be exact, just to make it look a little less boring. Okay, now we have those elements, and I did work a little sloppy. Our wood lines go over, the shadow goes over, so what I do is I take our base shape and copy it, and that seems to be my common mistake, copy it into place. Now I can select those elements I painted on, select the shape at the top, and make it object clip set, and they work nicely within the clip. Okay, so it's really simple shapes. You saw how quickly it is to create those, and then its variations. Rotate it from this one to the vertical ones. Same thing, I just like some variation in it, so not everything looks exactly the same. And same with the doors. If we zoom in here, using the same wood pattern put into a clip. Again, a little bit of variation there, one dark red, one petrol door. So all in all, I have a few assets that allow me to build, for example, this one that I pre-prepared. To show you how easy it is, we'll just go in and hide this one. Now we have enough room to build something. Let's start by taking one of the wall tiles. I duplicate my existing tile, take the other one, duplicate it as well, and maybe we need those two as well. And while I'm at it, let's take these and a few of those. For this one, we'll go with a rounded door and nice rounded window, and on the side maybe a little bit of a fence. See, those elements can be scaled and they still work quite nicely. Might have to adjust the stroke a little. For now we just keep it as it is, and take the other one as well. Okay, and with those elements, the main things we'll be using is making sure their layering is right, so things are in front or in the back to be on top of things. So the door definitely needs to be on top of the wall, and so does the window. And the other thing is our best friend, the align tool, so I can make sure that my floor tiles are aligned. Now for this one, you open the align tool, it's set to my last setting, which was relative to page, so this one I set to last selected, and turn on the treat selection as group, otherwise it won't detect what you want to move to where. So now all my elements are aligned to the bottom of the wall tile. Okay, let's move this out a bit. So the idea is that those beams cover the wall tiles, and here we scale a little bit to give it some room for the window. And we duplicate those there. Top. And in order to see what I'm doing, I should probably zoom in to get a better view and let you guys see what I'm doing. Okay, so basically for these, I really don't need the stroke, so I could just turn the stroke off for those, but I won't worry about it now because we'll be hiding it behind objects. Okay, copy of this one, scale it there, and another one goes here. Take outer beam, put it there, and just to make it look a little different, we can flip them around Okay, those 4 beams need to be at the front, so we select them and move them with the object raise or raise to the top. In this case we just raise them to the top. We select the door and the window and do the same thing. We raise them to the top. Now our window and door as well are right where we want them. One thing, if you move things like the door, if I move them normally, okay, I have to place them, make sure it stays in position. If you hold Control while you move, it is stuck on either the vertical or the horizontal, so you keep your placement, and in this case I want it to stay aligned to the bottom of my wall tile. Now I can take one of those and again raise it, come on, raise to the top, duplicate it, let's take next lot of assets that we can put into this. Like to have a little fence here and maybe use the same element for some deco up here. Okay, let's choose a roof. Put that here. For the shingles, we don't draw each and every one. It'll cause problems with the tiling. Make sure that everything is there, which doesn't allow the elements to be scaled. What we want is a scalable element. So we take this one, and if I put it here, I can scale it, and here we see what happens when you scale with the stroke. So we have to adjust that. Same goes for this one. So we will do that later. Now just roughly put things on here. And just a few more. Okay, I'm gonna use chimney and the top bit of the chimney, align it and send it all the way back. Okay, let's get some deco elements that we can use for this one, that one, and maybe this one. Might look nice with the second chimney. So basically you just use the elements, play with them, and see what happens when you combine them. And here, to cover up elements that have outlines, you can use various items that you have created and just look what works best. So we could say, okay, just give the chimney some sort of wooden structure to hold it together. These two can go over here, and we want them at the top, aligned like this. This element probably can go somewhere here. Objects, raise to top, and we can move second chimney here, and to make it look more interesting, add another bit of roof here, going up high. Okay, so this one goes there. I'm running out of roof space. Maybe we can make the roof uneven in the end. Okay, scale this one, and then we can go back to zoom. Okay, maybe put a window there. I created a transparent object that helps me just put quick shadows on things like here, or I could use it to cover up some of the roof here. Something went missing. Let's redo those. Okay. Okay, the window part has just been created with the first roof color, so we can just zoom in, select the element and say okay, maybe something darker to stand out. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. And now we can see what we can do with our roof here. Come on, I want my roof. Okay, now we open the stroke panel and adjust the stroke size to match the rest, which is pretty close, but I think the rest has a 1.8, something like this. Now we bring it down a bit. Okay, now it's behind the roof below. Okay, this one can probably go a little bit bigger. Okay, for this one here we have a group, and as soon as I ungroup, the outline will look right. Can probably extend that, and now the big roof here, same here, ungroup. So can make that bigger, ungroup. Okay, set the stroke. It's one of the most common mistakes I see with a lot of people starting out with Inkscape. You play around with strokes. They are helpful, they are great style elements. I like outlined art. But when you scale, you forget that the stroke scales with it. Now I forgot, and the screen wasn't that big. Okay, the stroke scales with it. So the one thing that keeps your artwork from being consistent is varying strokes. It is really easy to spot and looks like an unfinished piece of work. Here you can see it just doesn't match, and let's just zoom out so you can see the whole thing. Yeah, this roof bit here really stands out because of the thick lines. Go in afterwards, look at your stroke and adjust it to be consistent. It makes a huge difference to your artwork, really makes it look a lot more professional afterwards. Another group. the roof elements are basically just rectangles with outline. So we can easily go in and say, okay, start creating some more interesting roof shapes. So let's see what happens when we take this one out and do the same thing here. Now I'm guessing, how far did I go? Maybe a little bit too far on this side. Okay. Not quite as nice as I was hoping it would be. So let's move these back in and do it the other way around. Just be a little bit more in line with what we all know a roof looks like. And then change the upper part. Let's go in here. Okay. And we don't have to stay with straight lines. You can always make it a curve. Make it a curve here and bend this one in as well. That's the beauty of using really simple shapes. We don't have to worry that now the pattern of our shingles won't match. Okay, just adjust the shadow a bit here and a little bit on the other side. And now we have, come on, select this one there. Now we simply have too many things on our roof, so let's take some off. So second chimney is gone up, and we take first chimney and move it a little bit further on. Maybe can go up. I like those elements at the end. Okay. So maybe we can also take these and just squeeze them a little bit. And maybe also bend them slightly. So do the same thing, we move the upper ones in and make everything curves, and then start moving a little bit in here, a little bit in, a little bit crease. Okay, now we adjust the rest. Okay, looks better in the center. Let's see where we are. Okay, take some of these, selecting the same ones, so take different ones, duplicate them and put them on the upper roof. Select the window and raise it to the top so it's covering our shingles. Okay, looks slightly out of proportions here with the chimney in that spot. There. This can go over. So you have simple objects that you can just play around with, place them, move them, squeeze and deform them to build interesting houses without having to draw the whole house from scratch, which is a challenge that a lot of us would like to avoid. We'll leave that to architects, and even then they seem to come up with blocks more than anything else. So the house is starting to have its own style. Let's see what we can do with these elements here. And we don't need them at all. And we can just go with the fence here. Okay. Just to look a little bit more interesting, we do an addition here. Object to the bottom and put an extension with a separate roof piece here. That was zooming in too far. So there we go. Okay. Let's take the roof piece we have up here. Come on. I want this one, and we put them down here. This one gets squeezed, and we place them bottom. Okay. Another element there, and maybe some small ones like this one. Here. And we can use the shader element to cover this whole thing up and make it look like it is further back, and put that object at the bottom and then bring it up just to cover the wall. Okay, we got ourselves a small cottage, weird special style home. Okay, let's put that there and bring back the house we had as a sample before. So pretty much the same blocks. Let's just copy it to its own layer. Okay, turn off the art bits. So the houses do look like they belong in the same scene, yet they're different enough to not look like just a copy of each other. By using the same tiles, changing colors, moving a few nodes, scaling objects up and down, it's easy to create variations in a lot less time than it would be to redraw the whole house. And to show you some more samples I prepared for this one, these were created with the same tiles, and on the left you can see that you don't have to stick to the straight. You can totally angle things afterwards, make them look weird, add elements that, again, like the clock on here, really simple shapes, quick to create, and they can be reused. I used the clock to create the round window. Windows are copies of each other. so are the beams, horizontal, vertical. So it's quick to create assets. Just keep in mind, keep them simple so you can reuse them and then play with them. I hope you enjoyed this one. Looking forward to the next one. See you then. Bye.